Welcome back, folks, to the next edition of the Dawnguard Questlines Team Dawnguard. This is it, folks. This is the finale fight. That being said, this will conclude the Dawnguard Questlines, so be ready to go over there. It's going to be a fight. Make sure you arm up, suit up, and eat up. As soon as you touch down on shore here, you're going to have the entire Dawnguard here ready to rock and roll, complete with Battle Troll. So folks, nothing left to do, just go ahead and dive right on in. And as soon as we do, things are going to start popping alive, and that's okay. As long as you got a good strong bow here, this should be a pretty easy fight. Now this can get real confusing. Sometimes you're not sure who you're shooting at. So make sure you stay ahead of the Dawnguard. That way you know everything in front of you is a legitimate target. Alright guys, and we are not yet done. Once again, I try to stay ahead of the Dawnguard and make sure I know what I'm shooting at here. Ah, that didn't die. Okay. See, now it starts getting real tricky to try to figure out what a legitimate target is. Okay, the guy with the crossbow is probably the Dawnguard. That's certainly a vampire up there. They're in multiple rooms. Okay, one more. These are ones who get hit in the back of the head with a bullet. Or I should say arrow. And before I proceed, I like to make sure everything dead is actually a vampire, so you might want to do that before, moving on. This way, if any Dawnguard happen to die, which I don't even know if they can be killed, I honestly haven't, tried. Nonetheless, you might want to reload that save just in case you do find a dead Dawnguard. Alright, folks, so the way out is by the way of the quest marker here. And this is going to be our final confrontation with Harkon. And you can't talk to him or anything right now, this is cutscene stuff. Now I honestly don't know if you have to use Auriel's bow here. Assuming you were able to smith that up, via elven smithing, it should still be a pretty, relatively easy fight. The only hard part is he disappears a lot, so sometimes it's hard to just target him and lock on. But once you do, you're able to plug him and he dies pretty quickly. In addition, things are going to be waking up in here, so I always like to cast a couple of conjures. Not only that, it just gives everything something else to shoot at. Alright guys, at some point, Harkon, the game will take over here. Go ahead and get through the dialogue options. Okay, now he wants you to turn over Auriel's bow. And honestly, I've actually never tried just giving him the bow, so I don't know what would happen here if I did. So I kind of feel like I need to do that just to see. Okay, so apparently nothing happens when you give him the bow. You still get into the fight, so I'm going to go ahead and kill him and see if I can pull it off his corpse. Okay, and he's moving around a lot too, so it's going to be real tough to plug him at times. And he's invincible when he's in that red bubble, by the way. I remember I said things would be waking up here. That's where the conjures really come in handy. Okay, and he uses his bat's power there to kind of, teleport around on you. Definitely tough to hit. He just keeps, swarming around, moving around. He sides to sides a lot. looks like we actually got him. Alright, that'll complete the quest. Okay, sure enough, I'm searching his ashes here, so whether you give him the bow or not, you're not going to lose your bow, apparently. And since we chose to stay human, this doesn't really apply to us right now, but if you were a vampire, that's definitely a good thing to keep on hand. And wow, he is loaded with loot. Okay, he doesn't have anything great. In fact, I think we already picked one of these up when we did the dungeon on the way up to the tower in the first place. So if you plan on keeping Serana as a follower and you plan on, not healing her so she stays a vampire, that's something you might want her to hold on to. Honestly, we can craft and give her better, but it is just kind of part of the storyline. Oddly, there's no loot in this chest. Okay, so we got Isran and Serana in here, and I think they had a little, short dialogue cutscene there. That you can't really communicate with Isran right now, but you can communicate with Serana. And she'll tell you she'll stay with the Dawnguard, which was awesome. And of course, you can continue having her as a follower at this point, or you can cut her loose, but either way, you can always find her back at the Dawnguard and rehire her if you so desire. And guys, one thing that I really didn't mention earlier on in this entire video series is that was not our last chance to be turned into a vampire when we did the Soul Karen. I kind of forgot, after all this is done and said, she'll always give you that option moving forward. That is, of course, assuming you don't get her cured. And folks, don't forget to check outdoors also to make sure that nobody died. And the way you tell, I don't know if I said it before, if they're wearing vampire armor, they're definitely a vampire. If they're wearing Dawnguard armor, that's definitely Dawnguard. Alright guys, so speaking of tying up loose ends, I'm back here in the Soul Karen where the Twin Towers are. And Serana's mom is, usually just walking around this area. Sometimes I don't see her and I can't find her, so I just pass some time. And sooner or later I can get her to show up here. If passing time doesn't work, simply go on in the Boneyard, maybe have a look around in there. I've actually never found her in there, not to say she can't be found. But then usually when I come back out, I usually, 9 times out of 10 will find her right where she's at now.
You appear to have something.
Okay, so go ahead and inform her Harkon is dead. And she'll tell you she'll return to the castle. Alright, as soon as you re-emerge from the Soul Karen, you're going to notice things are different here. There's more lootables, shelves are restocked, and Mom is right here where she should be.
Help yourself.
Now, and it's kind of weird that they give you an option to ask for blood-cursed arrows, but she doesn't actually let you do it, so it's kind of silly that they even have that dialogue option there. And she basically tells you you've got free reign to loot whatever you want. Now, I'm not going to actually run all the way back through the castle. If you go back out into the courtyard, I believe all those alchemy ingredients will also have been replanted and regrown. So beyond that, there's really no other benefits to having the mom, freed, other than the fact, it's all done and all the loose ends are tied up. So, how's it hanging? It's all over now. You can go home. It would be really cool if they could have made her a follower. It would be even more cool as if you could take Serana and her mom as followers, at the same time.